So what's today about?
Just checking in.
Yeah, just check. Okay.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. I just
Yeah.
kind of want like a random one, right?
Yeah.
Like we haven't had one. Alright. Hey guys, Sarah here.
Lori here.
Welcome back to another episode of Mindful Witchery.
Phew, are we ever Halloweened out, man?
We are Halloweened out. Oh my god, what a long month.
We saturated Halloween, man. We said it was on, and it was on.
It was so on. We went through so much.
Yeah.
We went from like horror movies to candy to witchery to Samhain, and oh my god, it was such a good month.
And it's just been raining so much this past week, and by the time you hear this episode, October's going to be over. We're going to be into November. And
the elections would happen by the time this comes out. Oh god, guys,
that's crazy. Things feel so tense right now. I don't know. It's just a weird. I mean, like in the political world, things are really tense, but I feel like my life is kind of just flowing along.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like I feel like I'm safe, like in my house, in my little like cozy little caves. But when
it's
I'm out in the
time,
world,
and witches are. Yeah. This is our time.
Yeah, I've been really struggling with. Actually, no, that's not the right word. I think I've been like navigating pretty well the chaos that's been going on because I've been able to step back from it. I've really because I know the elections are coming up. Everybody's all over the damn place. Mm-hmm. I've just been like, I'm just going to focus on my shit. I'm going to focus on school. I'm going to focus on this. And I'm just riding it out till it's over.
That's exactly the way to do it. I mean, there's really no other way to avoid unpleasantries. I mean, it's right now people are in a state of flux, and we all know that human beings don't survive well in states of flux. So the best thing you can do is just sit back and watch it happen. Yep,
I live in the flux. Yeah. I'm used to the flux.
I live in the flux, and it's just who I am, and I deal with it all the time. But people who aren't used to the flux...
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, guys.
They're going through what we went through years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, everything's been a little bit different this October because we've come to terms with a lot of things. I feel like this was something that October has been kind of magical in a way because it's caused me to come to terms with a lot of things, not just who I am, but who I want in my life.
Yes. And who you want to be.
Who you want to be. Exactly. It's tough being a witch in a modern world.
Oh, God.
Coming out of the broom closet.
Oh, coming out of the broom closet. That's been something we've been talking about a lot lately, is kind of like not figuring out who we are, because I think we already did that. It's like the next step.
What's the next phase of once you know who you are, then what? Like,
how do you navigate that? Like, how do you implement that now that you know who you are into the world? Mm-hmm. And I think we both kind of known who we are for a long time. Mm-hmm. But we stepped out.
Baby steps into the world. Yeah, now here we are, being who we are, being witches, and being very proud and honored to be a part of such a historic and noble tradition as it is.
Yeah, really. I think, is it like finding your voice, sort of? Actually, do you mind if I talk about that? My post that I just did? So I recently put a post on our Facebook. I have a lot on my brain constantly, but this particular thing, I don't know about you guys, when I wake up, that's when all my ideas come flowing in, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, whether I want to or not.
Woohoo! Wake up, rise and shine.
They're like, these are all your ideas, you better write them down or you're going to forget them. But this particular thing, I think because Samhain's been here and we've been working on this, talking about wellness, I just keep thinking about how far I've come. And how far my voice has come.
And Samhain is the time to evaluate that.
Right? Yeah, it's our new year. Mm-hmm. It's our new year. And just really be evaluating what you want to keep and what you wish to move on from. What you wish to keep in the past. So I was evaluating just what being a witch means to me and how grateful I am to be moving forward with this with you, but also how much I've stifled my voice in the past before because of other people, and how much the environment and the people that you surround yourself with, it reflects who you are and reflects how you act.
Definitely.
It reflects how comfortable you are to be yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think I take a lot of blame in that too, because, diving a little bit into say the past like 5 years or so. There was a lot of people I had to separate myself from because I learned what friendship should be for me and what it means to me and the type of energy I need to be around. And I realized that my voice I was allowing my voice to be stifled a lot because other people had a very particular way how they practice witchcraft or how they live their life. I think I almost assumed what they thought I should be. And I felt like my voice was stifled. I don't know if that makes sense. I got really deep all of a sudden.
No, it does make sense. It makes absolute sense because sometimes we tend, in our compassion and in our love for other people, we tend to allow them to stifle us, and we tend to sit in the shadow of their glory.
Yes.
And that's
especially when they have a big old ring of glory.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know people like that. I mean, I know sociopaths who are that way. The spotlight is on them, and that is where it is to stay. Mm-hmm. And when it leaves, when you show a little bit of potential and you show a little bit of power, that puts them in a situation where it feels very awkward for them.
Yes.
Because they want you to always be in the shadow of their sunshine.
Yeah, or their expectation of what you should be or what they need you to be. And I, just based off my studies and my experience, if you didn't know, I'm going to school for psychology, so I'm not a licensed therapist, so don't quote me on anything I'm going to say or take what I'm saying. But I feel like people who act that way don't realize that they're doing it. I think it's unconscious based off their own trauma and their own fear. However, I think some people do understand and are master manipulators and are really freaking good at it.
And whether they know it or don't know it, whether it's subconscious or not, we don't have to let them do it to us.
Exactly.
And see, that's one of the things I think is so important is that we can make and rationalize all day long why a person is the way they are. And it's truth. It is truth. Those people who are out there, sociopathing it away, some of them really don't realize they're doing it. But it doesn't mean, because of that, it does not mean that we have to sit in their shadow.
Exactly.
It just doesn't.
Yeah, and it's our choice, right? I think that was one of the themes why I wrote that thing. Self-accountability is everything to me. Looking back, I don't blame anybody but myself. Based off my own limited knowledge and where I was at that time. Like, I don't blame myself for their behavior, but I do take accountability how I moved on from it and how I reacted in certain situations. And I'm not putting this on anybody, especially if you know me. This was like more than one person who I'm talking about. It's kind of the collective people I let go of.
That's how I feel too. I feel like it's an amalgamation of several different people who over the years I have allowed to kind of manipulate me in a lot of ways. And I take full accountability and full responsibility for that. I'm an adult. And at the time, I was an adult. So, the fact that I allowed that puts me in a situation where I have to take accountability and I have to face the consequences of allowing them to do that.
Yeah, which brings the power back to you.
Yes, exactly. And to forgive, to be able to forgive, but understand that you don't have to have a relationship with them once you've forgiven them.
Oh, yeah. Right?
That is I think that is the one that really hit me like a hammer, was the fact that just because I forgive somebody doesn't mean that I have to have any type of relationship with them whatsoever. Yeah. The forgiving wasn't for them. If anything, it was absolutely not for them. The forgiving was for me.
Where do you think that comes from? This expectation that when you forgive somebody, you have to be friends with them again? Do you think it's like a cultural?
I think it's just a paradigm. I think it's just a really silly paradigm that we've gotten into in a thought process that just says that when you forgive somebody, that means you get to be friends again. No way.
No. I think friends are there for certain reasons, and it's okay to outgrow friendships because if you continue to change and they don't, why stick around?
Exactly. And I know sometimes it's so hard because you wait for a person to change. Yeah. And you love them to the point where you love them past any type of reasonable action. Because you in your heart know that they are better than what they're being. And to see them never realize that and to see them just sit in their own misery is hard to walk away from. I think that's harder to walk away from than anything. I think because you so want to be... And that's our egos. Yeah. I think we so want to be the one to save these people. We so want to be the person who saves them and turns them into a whole new human being. And when we can't do that, It's not just tragic. It's our ego going, huh.
Yeah.
I wasn't good enough.
You're so right. I'll take responsibility for
wow,
that
isn't that
right?
weird? Yeah.
Yeah.
That just came out of nowhere for me.
No, it's true. And that's part of being human too. Mm-hmm. Part of being empathic is we want, oh my God, like showing other people, like, look, this person really isn't that bad. Mm-hmm. Right? And almost like downplaying. There's a certain instance, there was a few instances I'm grouping into the same group of people I'm talking about. Like I said, it's more than one. Saying, like, they mentioned something about this person, and they're like, and I'm like, no, really, they're not that mean to me. Mm-hmm. They're not that bad. And I look back now, I'm like, who the fuck was that person that said that? Because I would never allow that now.
They just need a little encouragement.
They're not that bad.
They just need a little encouragement. They need someone to love them.
They're just having a bad day.
They don't.
Like, no, I allowed them to treat me that way because I love them and I care about them, which I still do. Some of them.
And it's okay. and it's even okay to forgive somebody, and it's okay to still care about them. It just doesn't mean they have to be in your life anymore.
Yeah, I'm so glad we started talking about this. Because
I'm
like, and this is part of like what we're doing today. So Lori and I today are, it's a couple days early, but we're practicing some like Samhain related things today.
We're burning the sage. I'm smelling it now. We got the crystals out. I took some pictures. I'll post them.
Oh, awesome.
Before
we got
this
our
episode.
Cauldrons out and...
We've got our bay leaves that we're going to write things we want to let go of, and we're going to burn them in our cauldrons. So we're celebrating Samhain in our very special way. This is the most I've ever celebrated Samhain before. I have talked to people this week, though, who do the dumb suppers, where they have the silent supper and honor the dead.
Can we plan this next year?
Oh, I think we should.
I was going to say, can we plan a dumb supper and then record it? But everybody's going to be silent.
Yeah. You just will hear nothingness.
Or we can record it and have it and see if we pick up anything.
It's all about intention, Sarah.
Maybe some ghosts will start talking when we're all eating. Oh my God. We should, I think that's, like, if you guys think that's a good idea, maybe we should record next time, like, maybe a get-together. Where if we can get together with other people. But
definitely. That'd
be so much fun. Yeah.
It's just been, there's been so much going on. There's like all these thoughts going through my head about things. And, I was telling you earlier, I'm starting to step back into trying to build my teaching career again. I was a teacher for 20 years, and I left to be a stay-at-home mom. And I decided I wanted to maybe try to put my foot back in the door, and this great opportunity came along. And it was a really different experience because... first of all, it's the first time I've had a job interview in, 6 years, something like that. Things have changed a lot, man. And the thing is, I wanted to make sure, and I made it my business, to make sure that the people who were interviewing me knew who I was. I brought up mindful witchery, and I brought up witchery, and I brought up what we do because they asked. But it would have come up anyway. Because I think I've come to this point in my life where not only have I accepted who I am as a witch, but I want other people to know that's who I am. That's part of who I am. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm going to go out and shout it from the rooftops, but certainly when it comes up, I'm going to answer it frankly and honestly. Absolutely.
Do you think 6 years ago you would have?
No, I would have done everything I could to say, oh my gosh, what did I just write on my Facebook page?
Yeah.
Or...
question yourself.
Yeah, or what if they know somebody I know and they know that I'm a witch and that,
Yeah, that's what I used to do. And sometimes still the habit's still there. Like, oh God, me posting this, I wonder what so-and-so's going to think. I'm like, who the fuck cares? It's Facebook.
Which is what's so cool about mindful witchery, because that's what it is and it's what we are.
We're doing here to tell you it's okay. We got your back. We got your back.
We're all inclusive. We love you, and you don't ever have to feel alone in your beliefs or feel like no one loves you because of your beliefs. Yeah. Because we do.
Yeah, there's no right way to do this, and that's too. It's like it's all about. Oh my God, I'm gonna sound super woo-woo. You ready?
Woo!
It's all about the journey.
It's all about the
journey.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's true,
The journey and your intent in that journey is what it's all about.
And trust me, you're not always going to get it right. You learn more from failures, I think. I've learned way more from the things that didn't work out.
Absolutely.
And the relationships that didn't work out. And even the practices that I've tried out when it comes to being a witch than the positive experiences, which I'll take. I'll take more positive experiences, but I learn more when I fail. And I learn more when something gets uncomfortable.
And it feels so right and so good to be your authentic self.
It does.
It really does. And I think that's where you and I have converged in our journey, is we are cruising through our authentic selves right now. And I was just, that quote we were talking about with Mark Twain?
Yeah.
It was, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything.
Smart man.
If you spend your time covering up, you always have to wonder, oh, wait a minute, what did I tell that person? Oh, wait a minute, what did I tell? Oh, what haven't I told this person? Whereas if you were your authentic self, you are there's a freedom there that doesn't exist anywhere else, because you don't ever have to remember.
Yeah.
You just know that you're your authentic self with everyone that you come in contact with, because that's just who you are. So that's the journey that we're on, and it's such an exciting place to be, I think.
It is so exciting. And I had a really great conversation with my mom yesterday. We went to Black Cow Burger Bar in Turner.
So good.
And it was very safe, and it was great. And we ended up going to BJ's for I think we were there for 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And we were just having the best time. I mean, if you've ever been, it's like Costco or Sam's Club, or I think there's different names.
Those big box stores.
Oh yeah. And there's I got this 8-pack thing of beans. It was great. But we were talking about...
So if you want to ever have bean dinner, we're going to go to Sarah's house.
Yeah. I think I have 20 cans of beans at my house.
Oh my God, that's funny.
We could talk about my prepper pantry maybe this winter. I could go all into it. But what was I talking about? My mom, we had a conversation.
You had a good conversation at Black Cow Burger.
Oh, yeah. I had a great conversation with my mom. What that conversation is, I can't remember because I got distracted by the beans. Carson calls them panic beans.
Oh, that's a good name for them. Absolutely.
You bought them on a pen. Oh, my God. What was I talking about?
Well, we were talking about authentic selves.
Nope. It's gone. Well, I did. I had a great conversation with my mom yesterday. That's all I got.
And that's all she's going to say.
That's all I'm going to say.
The rest of us are just going to have to wonder.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I don't know. Mom, just message me later. What were we talking about?
That happens to me all the time.
Welcome to my life.
Welcome to middle age.
Yep. ADHD witch. Right here. It was a good conversation, though.
Which is always, we treasure those.
Yeah, so... Like you said, my mind is going blank right now.
You do you. I love that statement. You do you. And don't worry about people not vibing with that. Because if you're your authentic self, you are going to be much better off, much happier, much more at ease, less stressed than you would be if you were trying to be someone you're not.
Yeah, and you'll find the people you need to be around. And sometimes it's really tough. I know that's easier said than done. Especially if you're still young and you still live with your parents and they don't like your witchery. But, there's always... We talked about, I think 2 episodes ago, how, there's ways you could still do what you need to do to be yourself. Find little pockets of time. And, if you want to practice witchery and you don't feel safe to come out of the broom closet in your family, you could still go for walks in the woods and have parts of your authentic self until you can fully embrace it.
And focus on the idea too, folks, that you are a card-carrying member of a beautiful history of powerful, thoughtful, mindful women. And that's where I think we can end it.
Yeah, I think that's how we got a lot done. Wow, look at that. We're good. We're good.
We actually didn't we have a couple of things? We had a question, and then we were going to do recommendations. We've added a new part. We've decided we're going to organize this in a different way, guys. We are going to have a question session at the end of each podcast, and we're also going to have a recommendation, whether it's a movie or a product or something at the end of our podcast that Sarah and I both will each recommend something.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun.
Yes.
It could be random. You're going to start getting to know me, how random the things I like are. All right. So, we got a question.
Nice. I love it when people participate.
Yeah. So, please, this is going to be something we're going to do every single week now. So, if you have a question for us about really anything, because
it could be anything from top to bottom, 1 to 2, 1 to 10, whatever you want to ask.
Yeah, what's our favorite ice cream? What's something witchery related, something wellness related, anything, really. Get random, because those are my favorite ones. So the question is, how did we know that we were connected to witchery? How did we get started? Do you want to go first?
That's hard. It kind of goes in stages. I know that my grandmother was a green witch, so I was, and I know she didn't know that's what she was called, but looking at what a green witch is, she was a green witch. She was the one who'd go out in her herb garden and pick up things for neighbors who needed some type of healing, or had a cut, or had a rash, or had a cold. She'd go out into the garden, pick something up, stick it in a jar with some salve, and give it to them, and they'd be better in a day. So that's kind of how I got connected with it. And I think over the years, I just, between the recognizing myself as an empath and just really feeling all of those kind of ethereal moments, I think it's just been something that's happened gradually over time.
Through the progression.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just kind of all builds on all your experiences.
Yes.
That's what I was going to say. It's like all your experiences kind of, or all my experience just have slowly built. I think I've always known in my bones.
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel. I didn't always know what to call it.
Yes, I didn't have the words. Mm-hmm. But my grandmother, same.
Mm-hmm.
I would say she was pretty witchy.
Uh-huh.
My grandmother was. Yeah, so my grandmother was pretty witchy. So that's pretty much where, I don't know, I think it just progressed from that. My grandmother was really spiritual, and she was really into ghosts, and she was really into Sylvia Browne and Edgar Cayce, who I know, I don't think they associate with witchcraft and stuff, but I think it just kind of led me on that path. I was big into history. I actually grew up near Salem, Mass. Mm-hmm. I grew up around...
And how can you not feel that growing up in that area?
I mean, it was one of my favorite places, and I just knew, but I don't think I ever had the words to identify with it. Too, I feel like what was being presented to me as I was growing up, too, I didn't fit into the mold of what I thought a witch was. It was like, that was available to me. Like, you see witches, and they're like in covens, and I didn't...
There was a certain... We're really susceptible, I think, when we don't really know a lot about something, we're really susceptible to the stereotypes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Or like you see a couple people, you read a couple books, and those people are into that. And at the time, like as a teenager, when you're trying to fit in everywhere, like I just didn't connect, even though I did. Like I connected, but I didn't. And I think it just took me up until my 30s. Yeah. My early 30s to really be like, oh, okay. Like I don't need to be associated with other people. I don't need to.
You could be a solitary witch, absolutely, and be totally happy.
I can worship a Dan apple if I want.
That's it. As I sit here and look at these apples.
Lori has Myuu apples on her table, and if you've ever seen one, they're glorious.
They're glorious. They're gigantic. They're green, and they taste like a combination of Granny Smith and like a Golden Delicious, and they are just lovely. And it's their time to shine right now.
Yeah. And they're perfect since we're celebrating Samhain. Is apples one of the things for All Saints Day, so that works out. Which you've probably heard in last week's episode, so you should go and listen to that. Cool. So recommendations. I have a recommendation of a movie that I watched this week that is on Amazon. It is streaming right now on Amazon. It's a relatively new movie. It is called The Lie. And it is a lovely movie. It is about two teenage girls who come up with a plan to, one who wants to see her boyfriend instead of going to ballet camp. Oh. And the other one tells a lie for her, and the lie gets out of control, and murder happens, murder and mayhem. And it is absolutely, probably the best movie I've seen in a while. Really?
It's hard to keep me engaged in movies, especially if they're not horror movies.
Yeah.
And this isn't a horror movie. It's more of a suspense thriller kind of thing. And usually I run around the house, I vacuum, I wash dishes, I cook dinner while these movies are going on. And my husband comes home and says, "Oh, you're watching a movie?" "Yeah, I guess so."
Yeah. I put it on.
I guess that's what I'm doing. I love to hear the noise.
Yeah.
But this one, I literally sat down and watched and didn't even realize that 2 hours had gone by.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I love that.
And of course, supper was late that night, and it was a whole thing. But yeah, it's a really good movie. It's called The Lie.
The Lie. Ooh, yes. I'll put that on my list.
What about you? Recommendations?
Ooh, so I highly recommend. So I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but Sarah, who's been on multiple times now, a while ago, recommended this show called Unsolved Supernatural, and it's on Hulu.
She talked about that at our Halloween episode.
And the hosts are, his name is Shane and Ryan. One is skeptic, super skeptic. The other one is not. And they go and it's a BuzzFeed show. If anybody, a lot of people, if you're younger, you probably know what BuzzFeed is. Have you ever heard of BuzzFeed?
I know it's
like they do a lot of like shows like this.
Uh-huh.
But this one was picked up by Hulu because it's so good. And I don't even know. I think BuzzFeed's still around. But anyway, this show, these two guys, one reminds me of Carson. It's basically like if Carson and I went out on ghost adventures. So Shane is tall and nerdy and lovely and beautiful, and he just does not any type of like little noisy stuff. He's like, "Hello, ghosts," and like stuff like that. It's just, if you just want a really good time,
I have to watch this.
It's hilarious. They also have one all about true crime,
mm-hmm.
which I haven't started yet. It's excellent, but these two amazing gentlemen just started their own company. So on YouTube, it's called Watcher. They do a podcast, Watcher Podcast. High recommend you go check it out. I will talk forever about how amazing they are. They just did 4 episodes of them getting drunker and drunker, telling ghost stories.
Oh, that's funny.
That people send
That's
in.
like that drunk history show. I love that.
Even better than that.
Oh my gosh.
They are just cute and adorable and lovely, and they probably never hear this, but I love you so much.
You can come on the show,
I
guys.
love you so much.
Sean and Ryan.
Shane and Ryan.
Shane and Ryan. Okay.
So that's
Shane and Ryan, if you're listening,
I love you.
come on our show.
I don't say actively I love many people that I don't know, but they just have brought so much joy to my year in quarantine.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So there's your recommendation.
That's my recommendation.
Every week, guys, we're going to recommend something and we're going to answer some questions. We are going to try our best to stay organized and functional. Yes.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
And we will see you next week for another edition to Mindful Witchery.
Mindful Witchery. And make sure you click that like button. Click the like button.
And visit Instagram.
And
because you get some
subscribe.
extras.
Turn on the notification. It's coming on podcast, Amazon. What is it called? Apple. It's coming on Apple Podcasts and Spotify soon. Bye, guys.
See ya.